and welcome to a new video. Today I'm here to do a book haul. So as I have mentioned before, and as you've seen for one of the videos I posted a while there, I was in London to study for a semester, last semester. And if there's one amazing thing in England, in London specifically, it's bookstores. Guys, I went kind of crazy. It's too much. I could not buy books there because they are cheaper than here. The selection is amazing for me. And and the bookstores are really pretty as well, so every time I went to a specific one I really wanted to visit, I would buy a book, and that they just accumulated. I'm gonna go into detail about, I think the one video I did was the Books Are My Bag Day. I will go through them just to do like a very wide book haul, but I will also go through the books I had to buy to read for my classes. So yeah, let's get started. So the first book I want to mention, which I've already read, is Charles Perkins Gilman, The Yellow Wallpaper, Herland and Selected Writings. I bought this for class because I studied Herland, her feminist utopia novel. It was, as you can see, Charles Perkins Gilman is an author from the end of the 19th century, beginning of the 20th century in America. And she's a feminist, and she's awesome. And the story kind of points out some very interesting aspects. For me, it was really, really interesting. I really enjoyed reading Herland. Didn't read the other ones, but time, it's a thing. But I do want to check The Yellow Wallpaper. I've heard about her from The Yellow Wallpaper because everyone apparently has to read it in America or something like that. That was the first one that I had to buy for classes. The next one is The Drowned World by J.G. Ballard. You might know him because he's the author of High Rise, which was a movie with Tom Hiddleston in it. This is how my teacher actually described the author in class. I could tell that she kind of enjoys Tom Hiddleston, and I loved her for it. First class, and I already loved her because of that. But yeah, this is a dystopian novel or post-apocalyptic novel. Basically, the entire world is drowning and the nature is taking over again. Reclaiming Earth. Yeah, so I bought it. I didn't read it, but we did analyze it. I didn't get to it, but yeah, it was actually interesting to analyze it, even though, I will read it at some point, I guess. Yeah, so, drum roll. The next one is We by Yevgeny Zamyatin. I don't know how to pronounce this. This is a Russian book. This book was first published in English as a translation because at the time the author couldn't get this book published in his homeland. It's the dystopian novel. If you think about the dystopian novel we now think about, which is George Orwell's 1984 or Brave New World by Aldous Huxley, this one was clearly an inspiration for both of them. And George Orwell, for example, says so, even though Aldous Huxley never actually outright said it, but if you do read them, you kind of get the comparison. This was published before that one. It was published in the 20s. It's a very interesting book to analyze as well. I haven't read it yet, even though we analyzed it in class. Another dystopian. My class was about dystopians, guys. That's why there are so many dystopian novels here. And last one for class was Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. This was really interesting to analyze since I'm a language student, because there was all this conversation about the playing with language and everything. Didn't get to it because it was the last book in the semester, and it basically was the last week when we had already done our assessment, so we didn't get to it. Still, I went to class, so we analyzed it. It was really interesting, even though I don't know how I feel about the violence, because I'm a baby about violence, so there's that part. But between reading this one and watching the film, I think I can handle reading it more than I can handle watching the film. So I think it will happen one day, yeah. So next we have the books that I actually showed you already, that I bought during the Books Are My Bag Day. The first one is The Power by Naomi Alderman. Now this one, the Bailey's Women's Prize for Fiction. I've heard a lot about it here on BookTube. Sounds like this sort of sci-fi dystopian novel where women all of a sudden gain powers and the entire power dynamics in the world changes. Sounds amazing just by that. I'm really curious to read it. I have other friends that are also very curious to read it. I'll probably read it very soon because it's very important right now, and also because it won awards and everyone is talking about it right now still. So yes, this is one of those that I want to read very soon. Another one that I bought during the Books Are My Bag Day was the upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. I actually bought this one before even reading Simon versus the Homo Sapiens because I thought this one sounded more for me. I don't know how to describe it because I'm terrible at describing books to you because I hate when people read a blur in the back. But there's this girl that's really awkward and can never find love, but she keeps getting crushes on people. Which, I mean, until I was like 16, that was my life. So I find that is gonna be really funny. And yeah, so I thought about I bought it at Foyles. The other book I saw at Foyles during the Books on My Bag Day was The Art of Being Normal by Lisa Williamson. This is a book supported by Amnesty International UK. This is about a transgender girl. So David wants to be a girl, but he's not yet. So it's David still in the book. There's these two boys. There's also, I mean, it's a story about a boy and a girl. Let's say it like that. I think it's really important to read diversely, to read from more perspectives, and to be aware and to get educated through reading, through literature, through fiction. So I really wanted to read this one. It was on my wish list for years, and I talked about that on the book haul I did. So I finally saw it in a bookstore, which I've never seen here in Portugal. So I got it, and yeah, it's here. And I really like the cover as well, and I'm really looking forward to reading this one. Also, during the Books on My Bag Day, I bought the essay Serpent by Sarah Perry. I described my feelings about this also in the other book haul, but basically I was completely wrong about what the story was, and then I read the blur, the synopsis, and I figured I actually enjoyed it because it's set in London in 1893. It's about a widow, and so she's relieved as well as sad, but relieved. And then there's this whole there's also this folklore aspect, and then she meets this guy, and I mean, and they talk about hysteria and faith, and I'm here for that. I'm here for good actual fiction, general fiction novel, or I mean, this is actually historical fiction. I mean, it's not historical fiction, it's period. I mean, it's set in the Victorian times in England, in London, which I'm a fan of. If you know me, you know I'm a fan of Victorian times in England. I'm crazy about them. So basically, when I finally understood that was what this book was about, and then the cover is beautiful, I had to get it. So now we come to the new ones I haven't mentioned yet. So the first one is Homegoing by Yasi. I'm gonna say it like that. I'm sorry if it's not like that. I mean, who hasn't heard about this book yet? This follows the lives of two sisters. One is sold into slavery and the other one is a slave trader's wife. And then you follow their family throughout, their the destiny of their family, the genealogy. And that sounds so cool. And also everyone has been saying amazing things about it. Again, being Portuguese, I've actually not read many slavery stories, which is a shame. I am aware. So I really wanted to check this one out. Finally came out in paperback in England, so it was everywhere when the paperback version came out. And everyone was talking so well about it that I figure I might as well get it because yes, basically. Because it's important to read from different perspectives than yours. The next one I bought at the Imperial War Museum. I studied this in the first semester, in the second semester of the last school year, so actually a year ago now. And it's First World War Poems from the Front, edited by Paul O'Prey. This is several poems, war poems from the First World War, and I studied some of them. I mainly studied, for me, we all had to do presentations, and I studied Wilfred Owen, and I'm just, yes, it's amazing. So I wanted to read more. There's actually poems from women as well here, which is good, which should have. So yeah, I got this one because I want to cry a little bit. That's basically it. Also, the cover is beautiful. I mean, my museums don't do that. There's one thing I do miss from England. I mean, I miss a lot of things, but the bookstores and the museums. I do miss it. This is beautiful cover. It's a beautiful edition, and so I don't know. There's space in my bags for one more book, and my parents just stare at me like, you're insane. And I know, but this is amazing. And the next one is Simon versus the Homo sapiens agenda. So here's a funny fact: I did buy, as you probably know, the upside of Unrequited before buying this one. I bought this one the last time I went to Foyles in England, and one of my friends was with me, and she told me she loves this book. She truly loves it, and she told me, no, you need to read Simon before you read the upside of Unrequited. And so I bought it. I read it on, like, I started on the plane because I needed something light to get me entertained in the plane, and then I continued, and I finished during Christmas, and it was so cute and fun and so heartwarming. It was amazing. So I already read this one, but yeah, I got this one because, again, curiosity. The next one I got was Sophie Kinsella's My Not So Perfect Life. I love Sophie Kinsella. I've talked here about how much I love her books. I love reading them. I think they are so much more than what people assume is chick lit. Like, the characters have depth to them, and they have, you know, this internal struggle that they're going through. They have this story about them. That's, I mean, I cry reading her books, and then I cry laughing as well because it's amazingly funny. This is her most recent one, and I mean, it's set in London, so it sounded perfect for me. And it's Sophie Kinsella, so I just got it. I had to have one of her books bought in England. That's basically that was my train of thought when I was buying this one. So yeah, I mean, this picture itself, it's like, it talks to me. Yeah, so that was it. The second to last one was England, Your England by George Orwell. I actually hadn't seen a physical edition of this yet, and the picture on a book depository, if you check that out, doesn't have the cover. So I actually saw it in a Waterstones, and I mean, it's £2, so I got it because George Orwell is genius. And this is actually really good for, like, readathons, for, like, booktubeathon. So yeah. And the last one was a beautiful edition of Pride and Prejudice. I mean, apparently they're gonna stop printing these editions. I am sad. I am heartbroken. How dare they? These are beautiful editions. I mean, they were more beautiful when they had the glossing over, but they stopped doing that for some weird reason. Still, I love reading these editions, and yeah, now I only have 2 missing by Jane Austen in these editions, which I'm gonna get before they stop printing them. And I've read Pride and Prejudice twice now, one in English, one in Portuguese. I love her. I love Jane, as you know, as everyone knows. I love Jane Austen. Pride and Prejudice is my favorite book, and this is a beautiful edition of it that I'm gonna treasure forever. Wait, there's another one. And the last one, very quickly because I'm running out of battery, is Turtles All the Way Down by John Green. Yes, I bought this in England when it came out. It's the special edition with the quotes inside, and I've heard amazing things about this book. As someone with anxiety, I've been having anxiety about reading this book because I don't know how weird I'm gonna feel about reading the OCD episodes, but people say it's amazing, and it's an amazing representation, which I think it's the most important thing about mental health, is to actually read it in stories and see it in stories. So I really want to read this, that's why I bought it, and I also think it's a beautiful book, and it's sitting in my shelves looking at me saying, read me soon. So yeah, that was all of the books I bought. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you soon. Bye!